2024, 25 in the future, and I think a few years ago it started this. Tell me if you agree with this in terms of relationships, because I've been in two long-term relationships with both women at the time, 15 years. That I was with both of them respectively for the time we add the time together. Times have changed in where now the social dynamics of relationships with the other person has changed to where, back in the day, you look at the times the way it was, the man worked, the woman stayed at home, she took care of the kids. Now it's more of a time now where you choose to be together than having to be together.
Right.
Where the woman is well accomplished as the man. Money can be equal. She can make more than him. He can make more than her. Whatever. But the social dynamics of what keeps you guys together now, I truly believe communication really matters even more now, because back in the day, the dude worked at General Motors. She was home with the two kids. He came home. He worked 9 to 5. Then that was just their life.
Yep.
Now you have your own business. You have your own career, your own things. You're on the road. You're doing this, your thing. He's doing his thing. So tell me a little bit about the communication dynamic that it takes that you think works now in relationships as opposed to back then. Do you think it's harder now, or you think it's easier now? What do you think?
I think it's easier so long as you're willing to have the conversation. So I've always, if you know me at all or have listened to any of this, you know I'm a feminist. So I'm very much women can be anything they want.
Absolutely.
But that takes work. You can't just expect that to come in, right? So as a result, my relationship with my husband is very 50-50. He sees it very similarly. Why should he be the one that has to work and I be the one to stay home? It's a very old school mindset. Sometimes that works for people. We also benefit from not having kids. Like, I will say that for people that have kids, great, that works for you. But this is part of the thing that makes us work and why we're able to accomplish all the things that we do, is that we don't have kids to tie us down. So there's already that aspect. So now, knowing that I'm gone 200 days a year and that he's still at home working in video games 9 to 5 remotely, he's going to end up taking care of the pets more because he's at home. He's going to end up doing more of the car maintenance when it's got to go to the shop or whatever. When I come home, I do all of the laundry, traditionally a feminine thing, but I'm making a bunch of dirty clothes on the road. And if I'm going to do laundry anyway, I can just do his laundry. It's fine. He manages all of the money. He manages the budgets, traditionally a masculine thing, but it works for us because I'm constantly moving from here and there and blah, 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 that I have a hard time thinking about the grand scheme of what our financial picture looks like. So we've just sort of picked and chosen what has worked for us. And sometimes it's this little thing, like going back to the communication thing of, I try to not be the tornado when I'm home and just make a mess. I try to keep things clean because when I leave, my husband has to live in that mess that I've created. And I don't want to stress him out. So what we've started doing is that, like, Monday night before I get on a plane, I make sure the kitchen's clean. I make sure the dishwasher's running. I get all of the laundry in the hamper. Like, all of the surfaces at least are clean so that we both wake up and we don't have to worry about that shit. But there will be times where, like, his life gets really hard and I'll come home from the airport and the first thing he does is apologize and say, I'm really sorry. The house is a mess right now because something happened. But it's the realization that, same thing it goes back to, we are not always in control of everything. If something happens at work, if he's got a crazy deadline and suddenly he had to focus on stuff and he didn't have time to empty the dishwasher and the dishes started to pile up in the sink, that's fine. It's understanding and recognizing that things happen, but not being upset because someone couldn't keep up their end of the bargain. It's a partnership. It's cool. You've been really busy at work. Great. I was planning on coming home and playing video games, but now I know I'll have to clean up the kitchen. But I know that that's going to give him satisfaction because it's one less thing for him to worry about. And then I get the satisfaction of helping my husband's life be a little bit easier that day.
You make a great point because, I have 3 boys and 1 girl, right? And my girl's my middle child. And me and her are like to the hip. That's my baby. I adore her. I love my knucklehead boys too. But just when you have that one girl, it's different, right? And that's the way that I raise her. And even though she's 8, I always tell her, you can be what you want to be. I want you to take over the world, be the first female president. I empower her just because I thoroughly believe in her and I want her to, when you go out and you play with your brother and you play soccer, compete. You know what I mean? Go, do what don't not do it because you're a girl. No, go hard, compete. And I tell my brother, I say, hey, you guys, when you guys play. Don't, let her learn the value of hard work, and she's gonna push hard. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I teach, which I'm glad you said that about, not only empowerment, not only feminists, but women empowerment and being what you want to be in this world, especially nowadays, which is extremely important, and having that confidence. But how do you guys work the dynamic of things that you don't agree on? Because you're human beings. So you could love somebody to death, but you might not agree on everything as human beings. How do you guys work through the disagreements with each other?
Oh, well, that's the problem, is that we kind of agree on everything.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Your communication is very good then.
Right.
If it might get to that point, you guys know how to stop before it gets there. If it ever did go there, you probably would communicate before it,
So it's never anything big that we disagree on.
Right.
It's always little things. It's like something as simple as social media. Like, hey, I want to tweet this thing. What does this sound like? And he's like, I would change it to be this. And I'm like, well, that's dumb. And then I think about it and go, yeah, he's right. Okay, that sounds slightly funnier, or maybe it's worded differently and it kind of comes across differently, whatever. It's always those little things. It's not immediately accepting that, like, well, because I wrote it, it's better. It's, why did I ask for his opinion in the first place? It's because I value it. So it's one of the things that I know he's really good at, stuff like that. So I'll typically pick his brain, like, hey, what do you think about this? I have a coworker at AEW, Amanda Huber. She's one of my best friends in the world. She is really great at immediately being the yin to my yang. And when I'm thinking about something, she's like, you didn't think about XYZ. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I just need someone to think from the opposite perspective.
You need that peripheral friend or peripheral in your relationship, because you're not able to see everything.
It's the person that is looking out for you and wants the best for you, but sees it differently than how you see it.
Right.